guys, welcome to the channel. This is Adam at ND72. So we got my SLK32 back in the shop. So, on the previous kind of videos with this car, we went 11-0 on the quarter mile at OSW on this bad girl. Now, to go a quick little build over of the car, because that kind of matters. No meth, no nitrous, running 93 octane pump gas, not E85. Simple bolt-on cars, basically needs wings, 178 crank pulley kit, needs wings belt saver kit, needs wings front mount, needs wings 82mm throttle body, needs wings intake, needs wings front heat exchanger, a few other little needs wings goodies, and then from VTech he tuned the whole car for me, so ECU, TCU. That's basically it. Oh yeah, and I got long tube headers from Moscow Supercharger. That's kind of really it. Nothing really too crazy. It's running right under 20 PSI of boost at max, but basically through the pool you do like 18 PSI. So low boost, low everything, but the car works to a point. Now I was spinning a little bit on that run. Air was probably pretty good, but I did run 11-0 at 124. So I was like, all right, I was so close that day, but then I just kept spinning and spinning, so I decided to go to an event that was relatively maybe a week and change after. Nothing really too new with the car, just wanted to go to the event and go try it. It was probably the worst event I've ever been to in my life. I went to TRC, which is That Racing Channel's event in OSW. If any of you guys were there, comment down below. That thing sucked. I literally left from work, got there at like 3:20, 3:30, spent 2 hours to get into the gate. So I was there from roughly 3 until 10 o'clock, did one pass. It was the most unorganized POS event I've ever been to, and it wasn't really a cheap event. So it wasn't fun, no payouts, but I did one pull on that event. You saw, people saw, I'll put the clip down over here. A lot of people sent me their clips. I'm just going to pick one of one guys who sent me it because I had no one to film there, and we'll play that now. So in that clip, I was racing this big turboed Toyota Supra with this guy. A girl was driving with this guy and was talking all this crap. So I was just like, all right, I'm just going to go for it. So we did the launch. It hooked up good. I go most of the way down the track and I hear ga-dunk, ga-dunk. And I was like, oh crap. And I pulled out. So on that run, I did like 11.5 at 117. So I pulled out. I don't remember where I pulled out, but I pulled out before the finish line towards the end because I heard a clunk, clunk. And it got me a little bit worried. And then I was driving the car home and I just heard clunk, clunk. So I jumped out of the car, I'm looking over everything, I'm like, crap, what the heck happened? So today, we have the car on the lift to kind of find out what that noise up the front end was. I have a pretty good idea what it is, because also, this noise happens when I go in reverse now, and so if I go in reverse, I'm driving backwards, and I hit the brakes, it kind of goes thunk, thunk, thunk. So I'm pretty sure I know what it is. It's a front end noise, but at the time in the run, I don't care whoever you are, but when you're going over 100 miles an hour, and you're doing this, and you're doing that, trying to go fast, and you just hear thunk, thunk, you get a little scared. Plus, I don't trailer this car to events. I drive it. So I drove home and all that stuff, so I pulled out of the event, but we still did like 11.5. It wasn't that cold of a night. I was like no ice, heated, blah, 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 all that stuff. But now we're going to try to see what's wrong with this car. Alright, so this is my front driver's side wheel, and I'm going to show you something. You hear that? No Breno. Let's go to the passenger side, see if it's any better. Alright, here's the passenger side. Better, but not by much. Now let's go into the car. Okay, so if you look right there, see that arm just literally hitting? So I tried to pick up some of the slack with that washer, but no. So I'm gonna have to replace this whole effing steering rack. So I'm like 99% sure that is my issue because I should not be able to, one arm, rock that around that much. I probably also have a little bit of tie rod end issue, so I just ordered the whole, what is it called, like steering linkage. So that should replace about 4 or 5 bushings. That will make this front end hopefully a super lot tighter. So we're going to show you how to do that, and then hopefully fix my problem. Alright, now that you got the car kind of lifted up, step 1, get penetrating oil and spray it over effing everything. If you think you need to pop that out, spray it. If you think you're going to need to take that nut out, spray it. Do all over it and let it sit for like an hour or 30 minutes or something. Because most likely, this has never been done on your car before, and it's going to be a little bit unfortunately suck. So, this part is called the steering linkage. So we're going to replace steering linkage from tie rod end, outer tie rod end to outer tie rod end, everything in between there. So, tools, simply, to start off with, you're going to need a 19 wrench, 18-inch socket, so whatever you prefer, and we're going to start busting nuts loose before we start popping out bushings, which will suck. So I'm going to try to show you a little bit of tricks here and there of how I do it. Basically, one side is going to be almost equal to the other side. Almost. So once I show you one side, you have to repeat it, and then I'm going to try to show you a way to sneak this stuff out. So let's just start getting to it. Alright, to start, you see this nut right here? This is a jam nut for your outer tie rods. We're going to break that loose, so then we could kind of count our threads so we could get this alignment pretty close before we take it to an alignment shop. So let's break this nut loose. This is a 19. Mine wasn't too bad. And just break it loose. Don't keep cranking it, so just go like that. That way it's easy to get out, then snug it right back up. Next, you're going to be doing this nut. This is an 18, so get an impact or something to blow that out. Alright, so we're going to start with this nut right here. It should be an 18. I got it on my smallest impact. See if this will do it. If not, I got to go to a big boy. Alright, that came right out. So you break that one loose and then do it to the other side. And then we're going to keep going. And also, if you could, spray some penetrating oil. This is one of the spots you want to spray. You want to spray it in, going down, or shoot it right up to help pop this out. Alright, next, you're going to try to bang this out. So you see how I left the nut on? There's 3 ways to get this out. We're going to hope that I can just pop it and it'll come right out. Okay, nope, not doing that. That's not working. Next, I have a tie rod popper tool thingy. I forget what it's called. So you're just going to basically wedge it right in there and then use this and try to separate it and bang it. Alright, that's not working. You're going to go to the big boy. This little tool can break your fingers, so be very careful. So basically what this tool is going to go into, you're going to set it all up how you need to, and then it's going to go in there, and as you tighten the bolt up, it's going to separate it and pop it out. So I'm going to get this all set up and I'll show you. Okay, so see how I have it rigged up? It's basically going to, it's loose right now, but as I tighten this bolt, it should push this, and it'll push down on this nut and pop it up. Make sure the nut has like 1 or 2 threads, and then you can go up top and start tightening this bolt. Do not have your hands anywhere around this because it will pop. I'm going to try to do it by hand first before I put an impact on it. Now you got that bad girl all popped out. And now you heard how it was like pop like a gunshot. Now this will come right in and out now. And then it's duplicated to the other side. Alright, next we'll be doing the steering shock will be this bolt right here, which will be a 16. And then right above it is a nut. So you're just going to bust that bad girl loose. Try to get in there. There you go. Oh, my light. Oh, well. And now save all these bolts, so you will be reusing them. And then you're just going to go to the other end of the shock and knock out the other one. And then that shock will come out and get out of your way. Okay, so the next bolt you got to do is right there. That's the other end of the shock bolt. So this should be the same thing. You just bust it out, but there's no nut on the back of this one. Okay, so next is going to be right here, and this will be at 18. And this is the bushing that was actually really, really blown out. Like, literally, I have nothing connected, and I could still just go, like, see the movement? And you really shouldn't be able to just do that with your hand, from my understanding. So I'll bust this nut out, and as you can see, I tried to put a washer here at one point to try to take up some of the slack, but yeah, it didn't work. So we're going to knock out that one, and then you come all the way over here after you do that one, and then this is the, last one right here. Okay? Both 18s, and you can see, let me show you how, like, tight this bushing still is. Like, I can't move it. That's how the other one kind of should be. And before you ask, oh, maybe this one just backed out, no, it 100% didn't. I really tried to crank on that. So we're going to bust those two out, and then we're going to try to pull this whole steering linkage out easily. Okay, so we busted both nuts loose, and you would think that now this would just pop right up. No. Still no. So now we're going to do the same thing we were doing on the outer tie wrench, just do a series of banging, use that little press tool, whatever works for you, and just keep moving. Alright, if you can't like knock these arms out, because mine were stuck in there, but also look how bad they are, I literally just took out the whole steering linkage. So how you do it is you just take this whole arm out and this whole arm out. They're pretty easy. This has an inverted Torx on the top, and then this is just a 16 and a 16, and they'll come out pretty good. Don't mind that. That's my special new intercooler for my E55. But you can just see like how worn out these bushings are. So now I'm going to put all my tools and beat the crap out of it up here now. Which should make it a lot easier than me doing it in the car, because as you can see, I couldn't get it. Alright, so we got them both all stripped down, and you could just see, like, that one don't move at all, and this one isn't too bad, actually. Oh yeah, I can't move that one, so that bushing's probably good. Let's go, like, well, even look at outer tie rod in. Bloop, bloop, no good. This one, like, as you can see, does not move, so that's good. That's definitely going to be a big improvement. And then right over here, this is the bad boy. So if you see how hard that one is, let's go to this girl. You can even hear the ticking. And then the outer tie rod wasn't that bad on the original. But since we're changing all this out, we're going to get all new bushings. And these outer tie rods were shot. So we're just going to do the reverse order, slide it right back in. And then we're going to count threads on these to kind of get it close. And then I'll adjust as needed. But just do the reverse and it should go right in. Okay, now that we got everything back together, we can actually see if it's still bad or a lot better. Now the wheel's going to be a little bit crooked because I don't got alignment yet, but let's see what happens. Oh, that is 500 times better. Like, there's no noise now, no nothing. And that's even with the wheel unlocked, because I go lock to lock, and it is not clinking no more. Dunk, 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 dunk. So that's going to help out a lot. Okay, so now that we got the whole steering linkage and all that stuff up and the front end feels really tight, I was looking over everything else and I found 2 more issues. We're going to take care of them today, so I'm going to show you the issues right here. Okay, so if you see right here is my lower control arm, you can look in there and you can see it's pretty blown out, but watch what it does when I get the pry bar in there. Like, it is moving really effing bad. So that's a bad bushing, and over here it's even worse. Look right here. So I got the pry bar. See, it's moving. Well, actually, the other side's worse, but this ain't good. I was getting pretty good yanking with it before, but not that way. This way is going pretty good. So, that's unfortunate. Now, my steering is so much better now. This may or may not been the noise I heard popping, but 100% my steering linkage was pretty effed up. So we're going to change these anyways. I'm going to change it in 2 different ways. Mainly for what I have here right now. So, I need a driver's side and a passenger side. I don't have a driver's side and passenger side here, but what I do have is a brand new driver's side, full arm, full everything, and then I have spare bushings. So we're going to show you how to basically take the whole arm out, because these arms aren't that cheap. For the whole arm, it's roughly $150, $150. You can find a couple kits with a lot of stuff, but $150 for the arm, or the bushings cost from Lingerford, from FCP Euro, which is good, $30 effing. So there's a huge difference in price. Now, since I have the parts here already, I'm just going to do 1 and 1. But if you guys are buying it from home and have a press, I'm going to show you how you can save yourself boo-hoo amount of money by just changing out the parts that are broken. So we're going to do both of them. But as we are saying this right now, before you start this job, take your bushings. They got these teeny little bushings and stuff like that. Go put them in the freezer. Put them in the freezer right now. It's going to help later on if you do not have a press. And it's going to help me even with the press of getting them pushed in there. Because when you freeze stuff, as most people know, they get little. But if you add E to it, they get big, big, big. So what an easy way to usually do this is you're going to add cold to the bushing. So the metal shrinks. And then heat to the actual control arm metal piece. And then it's easier to get in. Or if you have the money, just literally buy the arm, throw it right in. Alright, so for me, I'm going to be taking my spring out to do these. Everyone else, you're going to have to, but for my spring setup, it's going to be this whole nut because I have the full adjustable. That makes it so much easier. If you don't, you have to get a spring tool adjuster thingy that will collapse it, but watch how easy with mine. I just got my gun. One, do not use a gun when you tighten these up, but you can use to loosen it. If you watch up here where the spring is. Do you see how tight that spring is right now? I'm going to loosen it. Now look it. I can move that around and I got no tension. So, I have no actual spring tension to hurt me. Okay, so the bolt you're going to do, this is how I do it for the control arm, is right here. It's a 22. And if you look on the back side, over here, it is a 55 millimeter Torx. You do not need that tool. This is to adjust it. So you don't want to turn from here ever. You want to just maybe hold it from there, but it should hold by itself anyway. So you're going to come back over here with your socket and take that off. Watch how I do it with ease. Oh, yeah. Okay, full disclaimer, I broke it loose already on camera. But just to show you, it'll go loose and this back piece will not move. All you do is take your hand and hold it in there, because if it pops out, then it might move. But break these loose and do it to each side. Okay, next, right here is a 16 for our shock. So we got a nut over here and a bolt on the other side, so just break those two bad girls loose. And then the shock will be able to swing down. Remember, we still have our bolts holding the upper control arm in. We just got them broken loose and pulled out. So nothing will fall on us. Well, it shouldn't. Okay, so now that you got the shock loosened and the spring is loose, we're going to start getting the control arm out. So right over here, remember the bolts we took out? So you're just going to pop them out. And this, you see this little nub? So remember which way it went in there. Mine went like this, because this is how you could adjust it. So we'll pull that one out. Pull that one out. Now this is going to have a little bit of tension because all that weight. So be careful. Might have a little corrosion too. And then you're going to pull down and your spring's going to drop. Now if you have a normal factory spring and you left tension, that's fine. This is where it's going to spring out at you. But since I have the aftermarket ones I can loosen, it's pretty effing safe for me. So let's try to get this bad girl out. There you go. Just wiggle and grab. See how easy that was for me to come out? And I got everything over here to start taking off. So now my last piece I have to get at is going to be right over here. This is so much easier. Where's my little hand? Right? Bolt right here. You see this? Now you have all that room to put a socket on there and break that bolt right out. And that's for that ball joint over here. So that's the bolt and it's just a 21. You put it right on there. It should be a 21. There you go. And now you can actually hit it with a gun or a ratchet or something, because you have all this room to swing it out. So we got old one and new one, and as you can see, you can clearly tell the difference. This one don't move, and look at the old one. Like, I can move it with my thumb. This is destroyed in here. So we're gonna be pretty good with throwing a new one in here, and then we get all new bushings, which the bottom ones weren't bad, but these were pretty effing blown out. So we'll throw it in. Literally just do the opposite. There's no real big trick to this. Just go how you took it out, do the opposite, and put it in. Straightforward. All right, we're gonna knock it out, and then we'll catch up to you when we're done. Okay, so as you see, I have kind of like a weird, not official, perfect way to doing it, but I have that angled up on there, and then I got the press trying to push this out. It started moving, but the bushing is so blown out that I'm just pushing it through. So we're just going to push it through and then cut that bushing out. And then I'll show you a little trick that I'm going to use with it to get the new one in safely. Because as you can see, it's just coming out like a little poopy. Everyone likes to poop, right? So this was pretty effing blown out. So we're going to get rid of that and then sawzall the rest of this out because I'm not going to deal with it right now. But normally with the not so bad bushing, you could have pushed it out that way, or you would get a cup to go over there. But I'm going to make my own cup right now. So what we're going to do is cut this bushing out. So as you see, I kind of got at my vise. The plan is to sawzall here, and then I can just like push this bearing out. There should be nothing, but make sure you don't cut into your arm. This is just the way I'm going to do it. Is it the best way to do it? Probably have to not. Okay, so you see how I have it kind of like banged up. I already cut it, so I might be able to just have a little bit more cutting, but we're going to try to tap it. Ooh, you hear it? We got that piece out, and now this bushing should be a lot easier to bang out and come out. Okay, now, see how I just take the hammer, and it comes right out. Hot. Well, it's a little hot. So that way, you don't need a press, you don't need nothing. Man, I might use that later. And I did not cut into anything. I'll clean it up a little bit. Maybe I nicked over here, but now that's safe to put that bushing back in. So that's one way to do it without the press, and if the pressure destroys it. So we're going to clean this all up with some brake cleaner and sand it down, and then get it all ready for the new bushing. Alright, so we got it all frozen. We're trying to put some anti-seize on there, some sort of lubricant device, but since it's frozen, it's just grabbing at it. So we're trying to shove it on there. Oil probably would have been better. So now we're going to put this in the exact same position it came out at, which is roughly there if you see the vertical. Now I'm trying to rush through this because it is frozen, and it's going to help me go in there. And then, for the first little bit, you're just going to have it just like that. Pump that bad girl in. You probably could do this with a hammer and all that too, though. I need to move it over. Don't do it how I just did it. Get it straight. I'm hoping that'll fix it. Alright, so we got it going in like this with this whole contraption. So just when you do it, just be really slow. That's what we're doing. So, do you see how I have it rigged up now? Do it this way. I don't know why I had that whole like weird angle, but as you see, it stays a lot flatter like this. And this is just a thin piece of steel. I just want that there just for safety. But yeah, the bearing is basically, or the bushing is basically all the way in. We're going to do 1 or 2 more pumps. And then we'll be good with this one. Okay, so now that we have all new bushings all over, it's looking pretty good. Now, we can just see how much, like, not, like they move a little bit, but not really at all. You can see that little wiggle. 500 times better. It's going to make this car feel so much better. So now we're going to drop it down, and we might need an alignment after this, but we'll see. Okay, so as you see in the SLK is now handling, and we got no more clunky noise. We basically have the whole front end of the suspension is all kind of rebuilt and new. So, we did the whole steering linkage and all that stuff. So, inner, outer tie rod ends, all those bushings in between. We did 1 ball joint part of it. We did lower control arm, whole control arm, and just a bushing. So, I test drove the car. No more clunky noise or nothing even like that at all. So, car is pretty good. Now, I need to go take it for an alignment, but I got it pretty straight on where I could drive down the road. I drove it to work twice already, so I'm pretty good on that. Now, since that car broke at one event, well, kind of broke at that racing channel event, which everyone, I'm going to keep saying it, that event effing sucked so hardcore. This weekend is Street Car Takeover. So, the car should be dialed in and pretty good for that event. I'm either going to take the SLK for Street Car Takeover or my SL55. I'm not sure yet, because the ticket I bought was for 12.0, so the SLK will 100% do 12.0, hoping to do 10s, so I will be sandbagging that. But if I bring my SL55, it's going to be the debut of that car, like racing and stuff like that, and it really should be competitive in a 12.0 class, because my SLK hopefully should be doing 10.8s, 10.9s, because we did the 11.0 kind of spinning, and Street Car Takeover prep should be way better than a normal Sunday Fun Day event. So, I don't know which one I'm going to take yet. Throw in the comments down below. Tell me which one you think would be better to take. My SL55, which, if you don't remember, my SL55 has a 92mm throttle body with VRP ported snout. It's got cat deletes. And then performance. Oh, yeah, then an ECU tune. And that's really it. So, I'm hoping it's almost factory, just with like a little bit of performance stuff. Hopefully, it should be a good 12.0 car. Maybe 12.1, 12.2. So, it'll be competitive and I don't have to sandbag. But I do know that SLK will 100% do 12.0 because all I have to do is just figure out when to let out. So, we'll see which car I want to take. I'm going to try to like go there on Friday to film the roll racing and all that stuff. So, keep up to date with it. I know my video's kind of been like slacking a little bit. There was an issue at work where something happened. I witnessed something and one of the guys, we're not going to go too in deep than that, because we don't know what's going to happen to other personnel, but let's just say this. Something did happen at work, so my videos had to slow down a little bit because I was a witness to something which I'm not going to say on here because it's a little bit inappropriate, but maybe one day I'll tell you the guy's name. So, but if you work with me, you probably already know what I'm talking about. But, hopefully you guys like this video. Throw a comment down below, throw a like down below. Tell me which car I should take the Street Car Takeover, my SLK32 or my SL55. And, hopefully, I mean, I'm in Florida, it's already almost the end of February. We should still have a couple more days of cold weather. I'm going to try to go 10 seconds in that SLK this year with no meth, no nitrous. But hope you guys liked the video, and I'll catch you next time.